Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm playing Yankees GM today, and what would I do right now if I was the GM? Because the team clearly has to do some things to shake things up. Now, I'm guessing they're limited in their ability to do such at the probably at the trade level. I know there's been talk actually tonight about them potentially being serious players for Trevor Story. My opinion on that is okay. He'd be an elite hitter to be obviously be an upgrade, but what exactly are they going to do? Because Luke Voit's on the IL. What happens when he comes back? Um, does DJ move to first, Glaber to second, Story to short, or does Glaber get traded as part of this deal? I don't know. I mean, he's an upgrade over Glaber Torres, yes, but he is older. He doesn't have 4 controllable years. Torres does. He'll cost a boatload of money. And personally, if I'm going to do anything in terms of a shortstop, I'm moving, or I'm waiting until the free agency, the off season, and going after Corey Seager, who represents an even younger option and a left-handed bat that the Yankees need. But that's just my opinion. If I'm going to go for a shortstop for any reason, otherwise you stick with Gleyber Torres because he's younger than all of them. But he's also somewhat indicative of the streakiness of this team as well. So I get the Yankees' potential motivation to do it. But if I'm going to go for Story, I might as well go for Story and Herman Marquez and make it a blockbuster trade because they need a pitcher too. And he's got controllable years. This obviously is going to put him over the threshold, so it's going to need Hal Steinbrenner's green light or blessing unless they figure out some way to offset this money. I don't know how they would do it, but that's been the chatter today. So, but we'll see. But personally, that's not on my the top of my to-do list right now in terms of what I'm GM. First of all, Yankees have to figure out a way to get more athletic right now and more versatile right now. So there are some things that you could do immediately while you're working on other things. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So first thing I do is I'm moving Tyler Wade to center field. Okay, the reason why he obviously doesn't have the slugger bat, but the Yankees haven't been doing too well relying on sluggers anyway. But I'm moving him to center field right now and giving him an opportunity to play for Hicks because he's the quickest option and he's the most athletic guy out there. We need an athletic, fast guy, okay? And personally, if he draws walks or gets some singles, let the other guys drive him in. That's one thing I would be doing. Next, I'm doing two things. I'm keeping Clint Frazier in left, but I'm calling up Estevan Floreal to put fire under Clint Frazier's butt. Let them compete for the spot, okay? He's raking at the AAA level. Let him come up here and compete with Clint Frazier, period. And whoever plays better plays at the major league level. It's Clint Frazier. I mean, he still has an elite bat, but he's not finding the ball. So, and I know, there's a lot of different excuses you can come up with, the dead ball thing and whatnot, but the other players are hitting too on other teams. So I don't want to use that as the primary excuse. But the Yankees as a whole, they're not really hitting as a team. They're not hitting well. They're not hitting in the clutch. They're not hitting consistently. They're all over the place. So, and this is the way that it's constructed is they're notoriously streaky. They're going to be good for a while, and then they're going to stink for a while. And that's a recipe for disaster if you want to get into the postseason and when you're into the postseason. So those are two things that I do right away. Thirdly, I call up Chris Gittens to get some reps at first base. He's also smashing the ball, and he's been doing it for quite a few years at the AAA level. So he's 27 years old. He's a right-handed power bat, which replaces the right-handed power that Luke Voit had. So there's an option there. Plus, he can give Stanton a day off at DH. He can do a couple things, or he can also DH and let DJ play first, or he can play first and let DJ have a day off and have Torres move over to set. Like, there's a lot of options that you can do with Chris Gittens up and Estevan Floreal being up. I still don't understand why they called him up for a day and then sent him back down. These moves don't really make much sense to me. But these guys, they need a bit of a longer streak, and now we're being kind of decimated by these injuries, and a lot of them are kind of long-term type injuries. So these are the type of guys that can represent guys that could play these positions and either be there or be there while they're working on another trade. I've said it in other videos as well, looking for a versatile player who can play multiple positions, like a Ketel Marte or a Brian Reynolds. Those guys, I like them because they're versatile. Again, they're switch hitters, and they play multiple positions, which gives a bunch of players an opportunity to get a rest day on alternate days or whatever. So you could play him in infield one day, give an infield a break. You play him in outfield another day, give an outfield a break. Even if he's playing 3 games a week or 4 games a week. Who cares? It's still giving regular rest to the regular guys. Okay, that's kind of the logic behind my thinking here from GM, because those moves I think are representative of what the Yankees need right now, but they're also not ridiculously flashy moves aside from if they do a blockbuster with Colorado or something like that. But these guys are gettable. They'll cost a little bit, sure. They'll cost a player, a good couple of prospects, particularly Ketel Marte, but they're young. They are under controllable contracts. Marte's under control until 2025. Reynolds until 2026. Gives them options, okay, and it gives them options for several years. So with Brett Gardner's not really doing, and I know he's a great veteran and he's signed through the year, and I think with even an option for next year. But I think, in all honesty, I would say thank you for your being a great Yankee after this year and let him walk. So, and then you have a guy like this to replace him or compete with a bunch of other players. And now you've got Marte and Floreal and Frazier. Just kind of my way of thinking, or Reynolds, and that same combination of guys. Plus, they're also given competition to some of the infielders as well. Better defense in some positions. So, unless they upgrade at shortstop, you can continue to expect some kind of inconsistent or some kind of not sub-elite defense by Gleyber Torres. He's a work in progress at that position, okay? And so, they have to decide what they're going to do in that area as well. But I think right now, they can do these moves. They can play Wade at center. They can bump Gittins up and Floreal. Keep him here. Okay, let him put a fire into some of these people's butts, okay? And work the market, work the phones for a switch hitter who can play multiple positions. Again, those two guys stand out to me. I know Joey Gallo's the exciting bit, but he's not as versatile. He doesn't play multiple positions, and I know he's still young. He's got a left-handed bat, which the Yankees need, but I like the switch hitter because it gives him the opportunity to mix and match lineups differently each time, and the strictly left-handed bat does not. Okay, he's got a rocket in right field, but we already have a guy with a rocket in right field, Aaron Judge. Okay, so Gallo doesn't really represent, to me, a need over these two guys. These two guys would be a better fit and just address more issues or more holes for the Yankees. So that's what I do if I'm GM, and I'm obviously looking for a pitcher. Marquez would be great, but they have to keep in mind too that those guys are going to put the Yankees over that $210 million threshold. So you got to call Hal Steinbrenner and figure something out. Or you got to offset it with some salary. So I just don't know what salary to offset it with. You can get rid of a bunch of guys, like Frazier, this and blah, 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 but they're all on low salaries. So you're going to have to give up like 12 guys. So it just doesn't make sense in that regard. So that's kind of my thinking right now. And long term, I'm obviously looking for another pitcher, a frontline pitcher of some sort, to put in that rotation at or before the deadline. Before the deadline would be better because in at least in my experience as a Yankee fan, Cashman is notorious for waiting until the deadline. He's just methodically patient, and sometimes he gets beat to the punch because of that method, being methodically patient. And I don't want that to happen, especially this year when they're kind of decimated and teams are being proactive. Like the Tampa Bay's acquired 2 relievers a week and a half ago, and under the radar but impactful. And they're specifically to neutralize bats in the AL East from the Blue Jays, from the Yankees, from the Red Sox. Like, that's what it's for. So you're countering those moves in a way that is effective is what's going to happen. One of the things that I think is going to help the Yankees keep moving forward, because being good for a bit and then stinking for a bit and being good for a bit and stinking for a bit, again, it's not a recipe for short-term or long-term success. We don't want to waste Garrett Cole's prime years and just don't want to do that. We want to complement him with other guys. And the more people you come in that are a little bit more consistent, the less frequently they'll have ridiculous losing streaks, and just like streaks where they look absolutely clueless. And I think it's an important thing for the Yankees to pursue. And that's what I would do if I were the GM right now. And again, I would continue looking to make other moves, but right now I want to get more athletic. I want to throw a different look at pitchers, get a little bit more versatile, and again, these guys, Gittins, Wade, and all them, they're already cheap and affordable. Yeah, you'd have to get a roster spot for Gittins, but that's not impossible. I mean, that's a doable thing. So You know, like they could also, in that case, they'd probably DFA Mike Ford. I know he's a lefty bat, but Gittins at this point is an upgrade over Mike Ford, and I'd like Mike Ford, but he'd probably be more valuable elsewhere. So that's the swap of a roster spot right there for Chris Gittins for first base and DH. So it's possible. So anyway, you let me know what you would do if you were GM of the Yankees. And I know that there's a lot of emotion and a lot of frustration with Boone and Thames and stuff like that. But Thames is not the only reason. He can't be at home plate with these guys. So the way that the team is constructed is not conducive to beating teams like the Blue Jays and the Padres. I mean, those lineups are relentless. They're versatile. They're athletic. They do all the little things and all the big things. They work counts. These are a lot of things that the Yankees don't currently do. And it's not always taught at the Major League level. These things, it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So that's why constructing the team a little different, giving them more versatility and athleticism and patience, and not so reliant on waiting for a 3-run home run to tie the game when you could have had walks and singles and doubles, and just keep manufacturing runs and create chaos and tire out the starting pitchers and get to weak bullpens and things like that. That's kind of the way I'm thinking. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching the video. I'll be doing another trade deadline video, and then I'm going to play mock GM for the Mets. So that's coming too. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you then.